Okay, we are live.
Hello.
I'll just have to ask everyone to will you'll have some noise, guys. Those who are listening, you'll have some noise. We can't solve this now, but I hope it's not be a big of a problem. Just let me know if you can hear us well. Alejandro, can you say something?
1 2 1 2. Hello, everyone.
Just to solve, I mean, this is the process we do like every time. So I think our spectators are like used to it. Uh, so huh, I will type it.
I like it. Let's just lower the standards.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's more like if you imagine, it's like the settings are adjusted to your type of dark art. Like you can
Yeah.
imagine this kind of noise in a movie or whatever. In a Long Harbor story happening.
Is it
So
that bad?
no, I don't think it's that bad. My colleague Svenki says it's all good, so I think we can proceed. So and before we do, of course, I have to use the opportunity to promote to do some promo messages. So before we start with you, let's remind people about the live event we're preparing for the June 24th of June to 29th of June in beautiful city of Split at the Adriatic coast in Croatia. So we've moved from Zagreb to Split, 25 instructors and demo artists. Unfortunately, Alejandro won't be one of them this year because we got in touch too late. But hopefully, if we continue doing this, I'll be happy to invite you. If you'll be available. So
Sure, I can make that.
yeah, yeah. Because this year we're kind of tight with the slots for speakers and the budget and all this. But next year, if we talk about it soon enough, we'll have something to agree on. Okay, so this is it. What else to say? Yes, recently we had finished the Epic Mate or Epic Met shot course with Stephen Corman on our other website, IFCC Academy. I think the people who attended it were like pretty satisfied, and we have some amazing artworks done by students. So you can check it out as well. And what else to say? Yeah, we started Patreon page, and we don't promote it that much yet because we still don't have like the structure. But for those who are coming to event, what they should know, it will be possible to get a ticket through Patreon, through the membership. So, and we'll talk about it more in the upcoming sessions. So let's get back to Alejandro. Uh, Welcome. Thank you for joining me in this session, and please introduce yourself, and then I'll start bombing you with questions.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. Um, and I want to say first, guys, bear with me. I've been having a crazy flu for the last 5 days, and I'm just recovering right now, so I still sound like I'm dying. Um, My name is Alejandro Mirabal. I have done concept art and illustration most of for the past 6 years, and right now I'm working on comics, my first comic book, and there is really not much to say. That's pretty much all I do. Uh,
How did you
make
end up
space.
in Bali? Are you from
Oh
Bali? I guess not.
no, I am Cuban. I'm from Cuba, from Havana, and well, it's a long story. I moved. I don't know if you guys heard, but you know, Cuba is not, it's not really nice to live in economically.
It's nice on
Um,
the photos in the tourist
yeah,
guides. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we moved out from Cuba, and when I to Portugal, to Europe, and then after a few years, I started working with my dad. Uh, he was working for this company. Well, what he all his life he's done underwater maritime archaeology. So basically, looking for shipwrecks, excavating them, and I started working with him in Mozambique for around 6 years.
Mozambique.
And the last year, they sent me to. Do you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, yep.
Did you say
Well,
Mozambique?
Mozambique, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my last year working with him as a diver was in Indonesia. So that's why I came here. After a while, I decided to pursue illustration in Jakarta. I started working for a studio called Caravan Studio, and for around 6 months, and I met a lot of really nice artists. They taught me pretty much every 80% of what I know right now, and that's how I ended up in Bali after Jakarta. After working with them in Jakarta, I met my wife, and we moved to Bali.
We can. I mean, if you can remember some of the names of those artists, maybe we can
Oh yeah,
look up for them.
you can look up Lius Lasahido.
Oh, I think I've even been in contact with him. Uh,
Yeah, and Rudy, his nickname online is Krut.
Rudy
It's
Siswato or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, 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 exactly. Rudy.
I even did like an interview with him like 2 years ago, I think.
He's the best.
He's crazy.
He's the best, man. I love that guy. And we're pretty close friends.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. With Rudy, and he came to my wedding. Actually, I think it was the only artist that came to my wedding. It was pretty cool.
But
It's really nice.
how is his English recently? Because
It's gotten much better
uh-huh.
from when I met him. Oh yeah, for sure. I believe he's in Hong Kong right now.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but his English is much better now.
he we did even have an arrangement for him to join us last year, I think, or a year before. I don't know what happened there, but you know, we just lost connection at some point. But we did this like a cool interview. Actually, he had like a translator with him, a friend who was
Yes.
helping him, and then. And I remember this was like total mess because I was in the middle of some railway or something like that, doing this on my mobile phone. It was totally crazy, and he had a translator. But in the end, we managed to do it, or we maybe did it twice. I can't remember. I have to check for that. So yeah, it's cool,
Yeah.
cool guys. Yeah,
I always
amazing.
I always tell him he doesn't need a translator, but I think he just lacks um what do you call it?
Yeah, he wants to be sure that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool guy. Yeah, those guys are amazing. I know of their work, and yeah, cool stuff. Uh, what happened to your workshop? You said you had this workshop in Bali. So is
Yeah.
this still a thing?
Well, it's not it's not dead. It's not closed. I didn't officially cancel it. We did one in 2013 and 2014. Then there was a between then the last one. We only did three, I believe. Yeah, three. And 2016 was the last one. And they the thing with the Bali workshop is they're really fun to make, especially um, while you are uh, while you are with the artists and the students and during the workshop is really fun, but it takes so much work to get everyone. First, you need to listen. I'm an artist. I'm not a business guy, so it's to me it's super painful having to send emails to everyone and trying to get them to sign everything and buy their tickets on time and. Oh, it's a bit of a headache.
It's like I'm listening to myself now.
Exactly, it's exactly what you're doing. You probably are doing it in a much bigger scale, but the Bali workshop concept, it's a very private, small workshop. We have batches of 20 to 30 students
Hmm.
each time, and they stay for a week with
Hmm.
us, and then we have five mentors. Each mentor will give a full day class each day of the week, and then the last day of the week on Friday we do like a night like a little party
Hmm.
barbecue thing, and everyone kind of says goodbye with a little party.
With a little tear in their eyes,
Oh
which
yeah, yeah,
reflects
yeah.
the sunset.
It's really good, man. You get to meet amazing people, and normally they come back. The students are, I think, half of them. They're always the same guys.
Yeah, it's same
Yeah,
here. It's a bit
yeah,
bigger here, but to be honest, I think 2 years ago we had like maybe uh, I think like up to 500 people all in all with speakers and everything, and it was like for me at that point it was like okay, I think this is too much for me, because
yeah.
I really like talking to everyone who comes, both speakers and the students, and I was like I'm real, and then of course you get so wasted before the, I mean, not wasted in a sense of being drunk, but before the event you work so much, and all the stress, and then it starts, and then you get no sleep, because then all the time you
Exactly.
have to be with students like day and night, and with speakers, and it was like too much, just I mean,
Yeah,
I loved it, but don't think, because of all the stress, I don't think I remember any of it, so.
yeah. You're describing exactly the same feeling I have. Is that I spent so much energy on just getting to the point where the workshop is happening and is running, and we got all the money and we got all the guys, all the speakers and all the students, and everything is finally happening, and it starts, and you have to spend a lot of time with the speakers because you wanna keep them happy, and at the same time you need to spend time with the students, and suddenly you just one guy and everyone is working and resting and listening to the classes and drinking and having fun, and you're trying to follow everyone. By the third day, you are not a person anymore.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And your wife probably hates you, unless she's a part of the event.
She's the event. She's the one that organizes
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
then this helps a bit. So okay, let's stop talking about events. Let's move on to more important stuff and why we met today. Can you please? Okay, I'll probably ask you a lot of questions, but I would like to focus on your recent success story, and that's the Indiegogo campaign and your project Long Harbor. And then after that we can talk a bit more about your background and the tools you use, and how you
Sure.
use them. But can you like tell us about this experience from start to the end? Like, why did you decide to go for it? Like who helped you along the way? What did you learn? How did you promote yourself? What does this all include? And that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Well, so far it's been amazing because uh, being a very I'm a very negative, half empty glass kind of person. So from the beginning, I thought, man, I really want to make this comic. I have this amazing idea on my mind that I wanted to happen. Like it's something that one day when I look back and someone says, "Oh, Alejandro, you know his artwork," I don't want them to remember just my gallery with my monsters and all the concept art and all that. I wanted to have something that kind of survives with time, a book, some kind of thing that people can sit down and read. So, but I wasn't gonna make a comic. That was not the idea from the beginning. It just started. All I wanted to do was some because I was learning how to do 3D. Uh,
Sorry, you continue talk. I have to answer my wife. You continue talk.
okay. So all I wanted to do was this figurines, 3D printed figurines of monsters, and I had this cool idea of I just gonna make mock-ups of movie monsters of movies that don't exist, and then I'll create like a little leaflet inside with fake movie screenshots of the movie, and yeah, that idea became that was the main idea, and then I thought, well, but nobody will care about the monsters if there is no story behind. So it's not gonna pass from a kind of cute little concept. And so then I thought, well, maybe write some kind of graphic novel with write a story and then the illustrations on the side or something like that. And in the end, I started flirting with the idea of what if it's a comic, and once I started figuring out the style and doing pages, I fell in love with comics because it was, until now I thought it was just the same industry, the same world of concept art and illustration. I thought everything was just the same, like we all do drawings, but comics is pure storytelling, and it's just like almost like you're making a movie because you're casting, you're casting actors, you're creating locations and story arcs, and it's so much fun.
I can bet.
So yeah, so then I just went straight for it. I was, okay, this is gonna be a comic, and I'm gonna figure it out. I will figure it out, but I'll do it. So I spent the whole year just doing concept art. I did like 40 pages, full pages of just trying how to tell the story in different styles. I went from color to black and white to back to color to very stylized characters to less stylized characters, until I found a style that was just mine. I wasn't trying to be an ideal comic style that I had in my mind. I was like, I'll do what I can, I'll do what comes naturally. And once I discovered that, it got really fun, and people reacted pretty well to it. I posted some let me see, where is it? Yeah, I'll show it later. I posted some creatures, some monster concept art, and people really liked it. So I got excited. Okay, people want it. Seems that they are as excited as me about it. So that really helped. And along the way, I met a friend of mine on Twitter, and he approached me and showed me his writing, and because I showed him what I was doing for the comic, what kind of stories I was writing. But I'm not a writer, I'm not a storyteller. So he helped me out. He showed me his version of what would the script would look like. I was like, okay, that's much better than mine. So please,
So
here is,
you didn't have any ego problems when you see something that's actually will work better for your own project.
Exactly, because okay, if I give you the idea and the story, and you can actually make something that kicks ass with that, do it, man. You know, I'll make sure then, because if I'm happy with the story, I think the drawings and the pages, they're gonna look much better. But if I'm doubting myself and trying to overcompensate with extra pretty colors or something. So yeah, his Twitter handle is @NaturalToby, and there is another artist called Curly. The three of us are making comics. So and then we created like this little group called Hollow Owl
Hmm.
that we help promote each other online, almost like a little comic company. But
Hmm.
it's really grassroots. We just started doing this
We should
ourselves.
totally, since you and I have commented how in recent years how Facebook and other social media work. It does make sense to do like a mutual promotion of.
Oh, I'm sorry, you cut out.
Uh,
I don't hear you right now.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just said like you and I talked before the session about the what happened recently with Facebook and these costs of promotion. So it really does make sense to group like that a bunch of
Yeah.
artists who know each other to help in like mutual promotion and yeah, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
their idea was very smart. They just approached me and said, "Hey, look, we're both making these comics. We believe, we feel that we would have common fans uh, because of the type of story and style." And when they looked at mine, they were like, "Yeah, and I think you would fit as well." So I saw their work. I really liked it, and yeah, it's I think it's very smart, especially for us that we don't have a giant following, on social media or anything like that. It really helps that artists help each other, especially when you're starting to get. I don't like saying fans, but followers. Like people that like your work, and yeah,
This what you said, like it's very important, I think, and since we are all, I mean, I think like in recent years, all of us, artists, event organizers, I don't know, like
mm,
craftsmen, whatever, we're all kind of forced to learn about new marketing strategies,
yeah,
and and since all the things that you see on the internet, for example, you see some other artists Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, and if you ever had such dreams to do like your own book, it will definitely motivate you to do it yourself. So we have this situation where like more and more people are doing their personal stuff as products, and
yeah,
on the other side we have like this big problem on how to market them. So and this grouping of individuals who share like a common interest really does make sense, and I think that it's the only option now. If you don't have the budget for marketing, it's the only option to promote your work and
yeah.
to promote your
Get together.
product. Yeah.
Hmm. Exactly. And what else? I was gonna say something. Let me see. I kind of
And then you
I
met this
forgot.
girl and married her.
Yeah. Um, no, and then yeah, when oh, so yeah, these guys I met the little comic team together with
Someone says here like
they.
share some other image maybe. First he said like this is awesome, dude, and then like few minutes later share some other image maybe. Yeah. Uh,
I mean, I think I
Raphael
had.
Leet, he wants to probably see like a lot of your other work. Okay.
Um, so this is John Oliver. I I made it for Neil Blomkamp, the director from District 9.
Yeah, we know
He,
him.
yeah, I don't know what that is about, but that was the briefing, and it was pretty funny. So I had a lot of fun making this one. So yeah, they were the ones that pushed me to actually start the Kickstarter earlier, and not because my idea, probably very very naive, was I'll just finish the book and then Kickstarted or in you know what I mean, crowdfunded. Sorry,
like
the campaign is on Indiegogo, not Kickstarter, guys. Don't go to Kickstarter. Yeah, they pushed me to actually go out there and launch the campaign, and I wasn't comfortable, but everyone told me, yeah, it's gonna be fine, and we calculated, me and my wife, what would be the cost for printing and shipping and all that, and I was, from the first day I told her, we're not this is not gonna happen. We're not gonna make the goal. She was just so bothered by me because every 5 minutes I'll just refresh the Indiegogo and be like, oh, we're not making it. Oh my god. Yeah.
I think we all do it, like for anything that we post. So
yeah.
So yeah, but in the end it all went well. I mean, it's still not
finished. It went well. Yeah, we met the goal, and it's still we're trying to get the stretch goals, add extra pages. Hopefully, later down the line, if we get more money, add.
Are there like for someone who would start like tomorrow with it, what to pay attention to? Like, what are the what would you do better? If you can like do it again, if you can go to the past and do it again, like what is not to be like neglected? Like, did you start building the like a newsletter list even before you launch the campaign? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, probably yes. Probably once you know that you want to make a crowdfunding campaign for your project, maybe from the start you should already start kind of branding it and know the logo, get the logo, get the name, get the email. What is it called? You just said
newsletter, like
newsletter,
MailChimp or whatever.
Exactly. Get it in all platforms and start figuring out what kind of updates you're going to be giving them. Because to me, I was just using Instagram for a long time, for most of the time.
How many followers do you have there, or fans? I don't know how.
Right now it's I think 12,000. But it when that's new. I just had 7,000 when I started promoting it. So it just has kind of grown lately, but that's new.
Yeah. So I guess this is like also very useful information for someone, for example, who may not have any followers, or who is like like it's good to start with at least some kind of base of people who know about your work already and who want to consume more of your work. Because what happens very often is that we who do art actually are promoting ourselves between others who do art, and any platform which might show your work to maybe others who just enjoy doing art, or consume art, is a much better option than just offering it to, because like we are all artists trying to sell ourselves, between each other, and sometimes it works, sometimes not, but so it's good to find people.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm
I
just
wanted to say like it's good to find maybe a group of people, like a large group of people who are actually art lovers, you know, who are not doing art but
exact.
who want to pay for art,
Yes,
you know.
for the longest time, I didn't figure that out. I was on Facebook, and I was very happy because everyone that was following me and I was following, they were other artists that I really enjoy talking to and their work. And but you realize really quick, okay, you are trying to sell a product to actually, people that like art, not necessarily artists. Some of them will support you because they're your friends or because they like your work, but not necessarily they're not necessarily looking for more art. They might just be busy promoting themselves and not going to get out of their way to buy your book because they're jaded artists. They've seen good art. They probably make it themselves. So just you gotta find people that are interested in art that not, yeah, like you said, they're not artists necessarily. That's a good point, and you can go to Reddit and well, Twitter. I'm good. I'm new at Twitter. I
Hmm.
just started and I didn't understand it. I was like, oh, what is this? Like people would just say a phrase and post it
Yeah,
there.
like that's dumb, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but how do you use it? Like, what do you like compared to the Instagram? Like, what's the difference? I myself am not using it that much. I post like every 5 months something, so I get no response. So, uh,
I would say, well, I started using it almost like I use Facebook,
mhm.
like any boomer. I'll just, hey, try to say something funny or something that happened, but you just say it into the void. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And I realized that Twitter it's much better for um, getting the word out when you
Hmm.
want to when you want your followers
Hmm.
to see what you're doing or in real time.
So let's say like it's more like for the important like updates to use it
Yeah,
so something that's like more serious, you know.
and also post art. Also put art, just
Mhm.
like Instagram.
Mhm.
And the cool thing is, you might be lucky enough that someone huge.
Yeah, yeah, like retweets your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching at your illustration that you have shared on the screen. This kind of fat alien kangaroo-ish,
Mhm.
crocodile-ish kind of thing. So this is this is like a
It's super
traditional
stupid.
thing.
Um, it is and it's not. So the ink
Uh-huh.
is traditional.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just went in Photoshop and I wanted to finish it, but I'm too much of a I'm not, oh, we're gonna swear here. So
No, you
I
can, you
wasn't
can.
going to mess. I wasn't going to mess the paper
Uh-huh.
with my lack of skills on with color
Uh-huh.
traditionally. So I just did it.
And this like shadow that makes him float that was added in Photoshop.
Everything but
Uh,
the black lines is in Photoshop. And yeah.
it
That's
would
why
be
it
cool.
looks
It
like it's
could be
close.
cool to do something like this on a real paper because this, I mean, it's kind of a, I mean, it's fantastic illustration, but this shadow is kind of cheap effect. But then,
Oh,
it,
totally.
but it's like so great, you know. And if someone would
Yeah.
open this in a sketchbook, I would be right away like a little kid, like wow, how did you do this, you know? But
Oh,
it looks really
if you
cool.
get that one, traditionally, the little shadow, we
Yeah.
probably you can do it with charcoal or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
or maybe some kind of airbrush or whatever.
yeah.
Uh, okay, let's move on. So now the book is still not done, right? You actually have to finish
No.
it.
Yep. Now is the
Now is the
now it's
hardest time
yep.
for you.
Now is the hardest time because all the rush from the campaign it dies down. And it's like, okay, guys, it's only us left. Let's let's make it happen now.
Cool, cool. Let's go back to the technique and the style that you picked for the book. I guess you were looking for something that could work, that can be like effective, but then again, also time effective. So you can like work fast enough. So, for example, you don't waste too much time on rendering, right? Or
Yeah, yeah. With this, I'm doing something that to me is it's new, because normally I render things a bit more painterly. Like I try to avoid having lines, outlines, or the inking showing. I wouldn't draw. Um, I wouldn't draw the thing perfectly before. As you can see, like I would just draw this. This is not a drawing. This is like the scribbles. But I get
okay.
the basic shapes down,
Hmm.
and then I would color it
Hmm.
a little bit until it looks,
Hmm.
from far away, it looks
Hmm.
okay.
So do you in this stage because we have some perspective going on in the background? Is this like eyeballing, or do you actually use some kind of guidelines to determine like this 2 point perspective
So
or whatever?
so in this case, this is eyeballing. As
Hmm.
you can see, other perspective is wrong, but it gives me the sense of exactly how far it is from
Hmm.
everything. But all the lines are wrong. So later here in here, I start getting lines in, actually in another layer, getting all the the right uh, what is it called?
Proportions, the right placement,
Oh,
the
uh,
right.
I'm terrible
Yeah.
at
Okay.
technical language.
Just
Yeah, but
skip.
I get
Just skip.
all the
Yeah.
yeah, I get all the perspective right, and then I keep painting.
Hmm.
But that's not my favorite way. I would like now I would actually in here in this one I really gotta use a proper grid with all
Uh-huh. So this is
the
like some
angles.
kind of 4 point perspective on the left, this like fish lens thing.
Yeah, it's a fish lens grid, and I just drew on it, on top of it, and then once I got everything down, the boat and everything pretty rough.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I threw away the grid and started uh, in another on another layer doing like the cleaner outlines,
Hmm.
and so
So
um,
for this kind of artwork, how much time, like all in all, do you reserve like a day for this, or 2 days, or three, or
uh, for this one I would say total, if I don't if I'm not sick with flu or anything, it should take me 3 to 4 days.
hmm.
But depends, because the problem with this approach is not, it's not that it's difficult to do. It's just it's too organized.
Hmm.
Everything is on different layers,
Hmm.
and only clicking from layer to layer, sometimes I waste a lot of time doing that. And because this one it's pretty, this one is pretty big. It's like A3
Oh, that's
size.
a lot of resolution there.
Yeah, because I wanted to print it big later. That's why it took me a bit longer. If this was an A4 or just a panel on an A4 page,
Hmm.
it would be much quicker, because it just the brush flows. There's no any delay. I'm not worried about.
So,
Uh,
sorry for interrupting. I just like have questions about the process. So this layer we see now, this layer is actually included in the final image. Uh, am I correct?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's
So, and then on top of it, you have the some kind of color in, or below it you have some kind of a
Below, yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
So below the character, so I
mhm,
block the character silhouettes,
mhm,
and then actually um, on separate layers, I select the colors
mhm,
for the coats, the skin, and everything. In this file, I already flattened all of that because
mhm,
it was too many layers,
mhm,
and I was already happy with it. Then uh, uh, so that would be something like the neutral tone
mhm,
of the character.
um,
Then I would do the one light source,
mhm.
and in here I didn't do any more light sources because it's so far away.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I didn't want the characters to look too busy, just pretty flat, you know.
yeah. Mhm,
Since the background is going to be textured and there's some many elements on the floor and everything, I tried to keep the characters as flat as I could. I could
mhm.
have just kept them like this, but it's not as fun.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the atmosphere. But then again, I could never imagine something that is like super realistic rendered to work this well. Because I mean, it's for once it's like time-wise, it's good to do to
Exactly.
have something like this. But then again, it's much more readable, and for I don't think that because you add so many details, just like by adding like a little bit of color here and there, you know, like for the textures and so on,
Sure.
that you get almost like, I mean, it's a kind of comic style, but it has like this photorealistic elements. You know, for example, if you would like watch this central part where you have like this texture on the
Uh,
on the on the on the
it's
animal,
cutting off.
it really looks like almost realistic. So and then you had then a different layer for the shadows. Cool. Uh, I've noticed like the creatures you do. I
Hmm.
really got this feeling that they are like from the sea. So I guess you and you have like this in your background, which you talked about earlier. But you did explore a lot of fish skin and that kind of surfaces, because I see a lot of
Oh,
it included in this project.
yeah. The Yeah. Well, imagine. Since I was born, my father was a diver,
Hmm.
and so everything in my house was diving equipment. And then he also used to do spearfishing.
Uh-huh.
So, and then he taught me how to do spearfishing from very early. So it's like a family obsessed with the sea, pretty much. We always had to do each one of us had something to do with the sea. It was always on the weekend go to the beach, and I'll go. Or even going to the aquarium was kind of weird because me and my dad would be looking at fish like, oh, that one is really fat. So, um, yeah, and well, he's marine biologist as well. So um, I'm not. I'm not nothing close to a scientist, but yeah, I love the sea. I did a lot of free diving, diving, spearfishing. Like it's always been part of my life. So it's not really. I really picked the easiest theme to make a book
Yeah,
from.
definitely. It's
Yeah,
it's
for
actually a
me.
book about your life and life fantasies, dark
Yeah, like,
fantasies. Yeah.
well, everything I'm familiar with, that's what I picked
Uh-huh.
for a book with a fantasy twist to make it more fun, and visually.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, yeah.
I forgot to ask you, how old are you?
I'm 32.
32. So, because I've read somewhere that this project was also a bit inspired by the Thing movie, or It
Uh,
Thing.
Yeah, if you have to pick an inspiration for the monster, the style of monster that you're gonna get, and also the the mood because it's a group of men,
Uh-huh.
in a very um, unforgiving environment.
Hmm.
It would be, yeah, it would be pretty much the thing on a boat on the sea with a Lovecraftian
Was
type
this
of
like
monster.
inspired by the I mean, you watched the old movie, or was this like the new one, the new version,
The old
the old,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched the new one, and I wasn't super happy about it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hate it, but the old one is the one I really enjoy,
Yeah, I mean,
actually.
I guess it was done like back in the 80s, and I mean, all those imperfections then actually look pretty original, pretty good, and I can't imagine them like in a better version, you know. So because back then they used a lot of like puppets and whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
True. I'm a big fan of.
even for the new film, I know that they did a lot of it like in real life. You know, a lot of the
Uh,
monsters that we see. Uh,
Practical effects, yeah.
yeah,
The new one, I believe, the studio Adi,
yeah,
is the
yeah.
same guys
They're
that
amazing.
did yeah, they did the alien creature for Alien 3.
Hmm.
Um, I think they made all the creatures for the thing, the last one,
Hmm.
with practical effects, and at some point, something happened in the production where I don't know who decided, no, make everything CGI, and yeah, that's too bad because those guys make really cool designs,
Yeah,
really cool
well,
monsters.
in recent films, I mean, these last years, I see a lot of people write about that the biggest problem. I haven't watched the last version of this film, and I'm sure I would enjoy it just because of the all the like design and everything.
Mm.
But a lot of people write the biggest problem of the popular films these days is actually the story, and this is maybe not the problem of the folks who write the story. It's just like what the producers expect that the crowd will
Mm.
expect,
I guess.
of the film. So there are like not a lot of original stories and original approaches to making films. Just let me check if there are some questions here. Blah blah blah. Okay. Nice to meet you. Someone asked here, I think it was Kalina from Japan. She asked why are you still using CS3. Uh, I think it's faster.
I think it's faster for me. I have used CS6, and I don't know what's with my computers in general. I feel like CS3 has everything, every tool I use, and it runs pretty smooth. So I don't. I'm not a technician, I have no idea why, or maybe it's wrong. Maybe actually the other one is better. I just can't make the other ones run as smooth as CS3. So,
Okay, this answers that. Let me ask you about your kind of. Do you have a? I mean, okay, now you're working on this project, so I guess all the practice that you would do usually goes into that. But if it was like if we would talk about what was going on like 2 years ago, maybe what was your like daily practice for doing for doing art, for improving yourself? Did you go? Did you take any classes? Like stuff like anatomy.
um,
I might repeating myself because I asked if I'm talking to the guys who are like into character design. I always ask them about the anatomy stuff and that kind of things. But what was your practice? How did you improve your quality of your work?
yeah, well, I did some. I didn't study art. But when I was in high school, I was I started paying this guy that actually went to fine art, um, in university, and he brought all the exercises for live drawing, and we started paying this girl. and she would come every weekend to his house, and I would go to his house, and we would he would tell me what to do. Okay, we're gonna draw her now on different poses every 5 seconds, or something like that. And so that was my that I think that taught me a lot about drawing the human body. But you know, I didn't study art, so for the longest time I didn't know what I was doing. Only later, when I started meeting other artists, and I started actually working in a studio, and everyone else were giving me better references to for things to learn. I would just check tutorials and or the Brad Rigney.
Oh yeah, the painting machine guy.
Yeah, and all the Dave Raposa tutorials. Well, all the people that came later to my workshop as well. That taught me so much, because I was there. I could just sit down and listen to.
In every session so far, we also mentioned the artists. Also mentioned the. Do you know the artist who signs himself Peleng? His name is Sergei Kolesov.
Oh my God, that guy!
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
That guy does everything, huh?
Yeah. He's like really amazing.
Are you getting him here or no?
You know what? I really didn't have luck with him. The first time I was in contact with him was just asking some newbie questions about his workflow, and then he was like very kind, you know, to share some information. But the first time I invited him to join our event, you know, he just stopped responding, you know. So, and I guess I guess he doesn't like to be too exposed, you know, which I totally respect, you know. So I myself. Right now, one lady here is trying to convince me to join some round table about art, and I'm really not into public stuff when I'm the one who has to do the talking, you know. So.
Yeah. I get it, believe me. This is not comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, when I go on stage, it's like, okay, I can blabber and blah blah improvise, but you know, just the concept of me being somewhere you know, like a guest, it's not, you know, I would rather go and drink with my friends, you know, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's examine this image a bit that you have open now. So this is like almost how you start, you know. So for this particular piece, what I always like wonder is you know, like background versus foreground, and then like sharp details, you know, versus blurry ones, and how do you approach this? I mean, is this okay? Let's I'll try to do a breakdown of this image. So would you do like this person who is in the front? Would you just like block him out with a brush, or would you like use some kind of a selection tool like lasso, and then throw a bunch of textures inside and then find?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is a very old image, and my process was exactly what you just described. I would have 3 layers, and each one with a different tone, and I would decide, okay, where does the main character goes, and block him with a lasso tool. Not very carefully at all. I'll try to find interesting shapes just by accident, and later add the extra stuff that I really wanted in, like if there's a gun or so yeah, I would get like a really sharp scribbly silhouette where to drop textures in, and then start defining things, which it was really fun, but I don't use it very much anymore, because I feel it's almost like an exercise to me to have fun, and maybe something cool comes out. But if a client or I, for example, now for Low Harbor. If I want to make a scene with that I already have something in mind, I really need to plan it.
Yeah, it's not easy to organize it with this technique.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Sure.
very, very close to what Ramon Nunes told us. Like we talked to him like a few days back, 3 days ago, I think. He was also a guest, and he said exactly that. Like for doing practice, for doing studies, for doing any kind of thing where you like determine, you know, the source of light and blah blah, where you actually like kind of practicing that, you know, doing this in more like painterly fashion is totally okay and fine, but then when you have a scene which has to be like exact and where you want to place people and move them around, then he definitely chooses to, you know, start with line work and then, you know, like fast drawing and fast erasing, and yeah, very close to what you just said.
And also the issue that I found doing the whole blocking thing before dropping any lines on the canvas is that I forgot how to draw after a few years. After a few years, I was just terrified of drawing faces and expressions and hands and feet, and because I'm just used to making silhouettes very very quick with blocky brushes. So it didn't help at all. Sure, nowadays I can use that knowledge to maybe add textures into a drawing, but I haven't felt so much control ever as when I started actually putting more attention into drawing, and then add color and everything, all the pretty stuff later.
Although I do like the effect of this style as well. Because it's much easier to get something which looks, especially if you're doing some kind of study based on a movie scene, you know, on a movie shot. I think it's a perfect technique for that, because very easily you can just like paint in the sources of light or the effects of light and the background and whatever. So, well,
I still use it for thumbnailing. So. So yeah, I would figure out the image before like that, and then start drawing on a separate file.
Tell me, so your the community, the art community where you live, is it a live thing? Like,
well, I live in. My house is in Bali, right? We bought a house in Bali. Everything, our dogs are there and everything. But right now we're living in this small island next to Komodo Island, Flores.
Oh, Flores. So you get a chance to hang out with Komodo dragons.
Yeah, I did. I did went there and check them out. There's just a bunch of lazy giant geckos. Yeah?
Can they run? Can they run at all?
I think they can. I heard. I didn't see anybody running, any Komodo, anything. They're just kind of walking around.
I heard that they can like break your leg with their tail if they like wave it like strong enough, like intentionally, that they can like easily like break a leg.
Well, they're gigantic, and they're when you see their paws when they're laying down and you see their paws, like, all right, that's you don't mess with that. That's like an alien.
Well, probably them and crocodiles, they're like the closest thing to like dinosaurs. I mean, crocodiles actually are dinosaurs because they've been here like for millions of years already. But I was obsessed with Komodo dragons when I was a kid, because we had like this comic here from the Italian publisher, and the name of the comic was like Mr. No or something like that. And in one episode he lands where the Komodo dragon, and this is where I first saw them. Like actually, it was a drawing by a comic artist, you know. And I got
I seen a cover. I seen a cover of two guys in the Komodo Island, like fighting a Komodo or something like that. Maybe
it might be. It might be.
Yeah.
This comic was like very popular here in ex-Yugoslavia, now Croatia. This Mr. No guy, because he was just like he was actually from the Amazons, like a white guy from the Amazons. What was the name of the town in the Amazons? where they produced the rubber. Anyway, I forgot. It's a crazy place as well. It really exists. But so he had like this old plane, you know, Piper plane, and then he would always get in some kind of trouble all over the world, like solving mysteries, fighting with I don't know who, but back when he was back home, you know, telling the stories to his crowd in his local bar, you know, everyone would always like laugh at him, you know, like he was a liar, you know. And this is like really amazing contrast, you know. And like somehow, yeah. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you because I like talking too much, as you have noticed. But so you were saying you're living in Bali, and I asked you about the art scene there, and yeah.
Yeah, we just temporarily in Flores, which is not far from Bali. It's like less than an hour, well, maybe an hour long flight. It's just two islands east from Bali. In Indonesia, everything is like that. It's just you gotta jump 2 islands that way or 2 islands that way because it's just a bunch of islands everywhere. But yeah, we'll be back to Bali. We go there every couple months, check on the dogs and check and everything.
Can you go back to Cuba, or is this not possible?
Yes, it is. Legally, it is. It used to be a bit more difficult. I remember when I left, because Cuba is very complex. The bureaucracy and the politics and all that.
It's still a bit isolated, right? I mean, internet
very much.
And,
I think true. Yeah.
I like two days back I watched Anthony Bourdain, you know, the famous chef who is not with us anymore. He did like a really nice episode on Havana, and it's I mean, when I watched it, it's still like this. I have this like romantic feelings about it because, in a way, it's close to what like our ex country was, like Yugoslavia, because it was also socialistic. Okay, in Cuba it's a bit more hardcore, but I've seen a lot of similarities. And actually, what I've noticed that you know, it's so strange to see like because Anthony Bourdain was commenting, you know, okay, like they have like healthcare covered. Most of people have their own flats, apartments, but then again, you know, they say like they don't have Twitter, and then they don't have like I don't know, internet and stuff. But now, like in my country, now you see like now you really see the value of those first things he mentioned, you know, like and it's actually much more important than all this other visual stuff, you know, that we consume.
Yeah, it's I mean, to me, the not to get too deep into it, because I know how this conversation can take hours.
Forever,
yeah. But just the lack of I think the worst is the lack of choice that you have sometimes. True, you get free healthcare and education, but you have no say on the quality of that healthcare and education, which is kind of given to you, and you gotta take it however it is. And then everyone has a flat, but then you have an old lady living inside a broken swimming pool, literally. She has to build a house inside a swimming pool, and then you have people living in a mansion that they used to belong to you know, the colony or whatever. So even in that system, you have these giant differences, and no tools at all to fix it yourself by working more or doing anything.
Although I've seen that they did introduce some new things about agriculture and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's kind of half legal for people to, you know, make money for themselves now, and with all this tourism thing, it's things are changing, you know. But the important thing is you have to keep these changes under control somehow, because we have seen here what happens when you just like give all the option to guys with the money, you know, then it's even worse, you know. So I hope for the best for Cuba. So
Yeah, they're doing a very controlled. Yeah.
I guess also it would be impossible for you to, you know, work on the projects for money that you're working now, because I guess there's no market for that kind of things there.
Well,
So
that's one thing. If I was in Cuba right now,
we wouldn't
I
be
wouldn't
talking
have.
now, right?
No, I wouldn't have internet to call you or to send files to a client. You know.
And right now there are also a bunch of other guys like you who don't have this opportunity as we speak. So, and I guess
So,
there are also a lot of talented people there as well.
for
Okay,
sure, for sure.
so
Cuba is full of artists.
mhm. Tell me, so all this story will, I mean, talking about Long Harbor story will end. The campaign is already success, and I hope that many more will, you know, contribute by the end of it. What's the plan for the future? You know, are you thinking about continuing this like with a volume 2 or any other personal project of yours? Would this be like your
Um,
goal, to working on personal stuff, and or, you know, you like working for clients and would continue to do that?
uh, I want to see after working on a book for so long, if how I feel about keep going with the same story. I I think I would actually like to keep working on and create something kind of in more episodic, you know, and explore
Hmm.
a theme as long as it's fun. As long as I'm having fun, I'll do it. Clients, I'll do clients for sure. I'll still work for people, but I want the most of my work to be for myself, for my own product, uh, and 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 yeah, don't have to do so much client work, because it's a bit it gets a bit exhausting after a few years not doing anything that belongs to you, you know.
Well, who knows? Maybe the Long Harbor, you know, will maybe someone will contact you to do something like a animated series, you know, to sign
And that'll
this
be
kind of
cool.
contract, or even a movie, you know, like.
Yeah,
And I
a
guess
little video game.
you can already see how this looks, since we talked that you're also using a lot of other software, so you already know, you can already imagine how this look in 3D or animated or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will do some mock-ups later on different styles for video game or even for movie. Like some screenshots of how it would look like in a movie scene. But just for fun.
Uh,
A lot of people just approach me. Hey, you should show this to Netflix, or you should show this to. I'm like, guys, the book needs to get finished, and later, if anybody likes it and wants to do something with
Well,
it,
you
we can see.
definitely should listen to that advice, to, you know, to reach out and all that. But I mean, we recently we have witnessed that some books are, you know, like becoming a movie project, you know, like a personal projects like yours, you know. And then, you know, like some agent comes, you know, and says like, okay, we know a way to make money in the cinemas from your story, so, you know, let's sign a contract, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, can you please just open the Indiegogo campaign page, so if anyone here would like to get a copy of your book, you know, just so they know what to look for. Because, okay, we mentioned Long Harbor, but, you know, it's different when you see it written on the screen, and the logo and
Let's
everything. So
let's show it. But there's a bunch of other really cool comic campaigns here. Okay, so this is my campaign, guys. Um, it's already at 21,600. 18 days left.
you're selling eyewear. Just kidding.
There is some art here, yeah, from Lohan.
And then can we just how do they call it here, like tiers, or the what you get for the amount of donation? Um, you have like few levels of the
Oh, the tiers.
the tiers,
Yeah. Where are they? Here. So for 25, you get the book. 50, you get the book plus a big print that I'm right now. I haven't decided exactly which print I'm going to send because I want to make a few. I want to make a few and then pick the best one. I don't know if I will make a poll with all the people that claim that tier, and they can pick which one they like, or not. Let's figure. I'll pick the best one.
Yeah.
And everything is signed, of course, because it's the first book. Everyone get a signed copy, and then the 500 tier is the book,
where monster gets out of it and kills you.
yeah. Is the book, the print, and the and I'll be making a really nice something like this, like a but traditional on paper, like one of the creatures from the story, in a way that you can frame it and hang it. You know, it's not just a sketch, but actually.
Well, this is this last tier is like a pretty good value. I mean, it's the original artwork, if I am correct, right?
Yeah, it's original artwork, and it's not just a 20-minute thing. It's artwork that might take me a full day. So it's already something that you probably would only get the drawing for that price, but you're getting the book and a print. So it's a tier to really help me push up the numbers
and to help you practice a bit more. And I guess like you can always, I mean, business-wise, you can always use those drawings for if people find it like if community finds them like really amazing, you can always make prints out of it, right? And,
yeah.
Cool.
I was thinking if later create some sort of what do you call like these creature catalogs? So
like you mean like they do for the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, like?
I guess I was thinking, well, something in this kind of old book with the handwritings on it.
I know what you mean. Like when those guys were like exploring new lands, and then they were like draw like all the birds and all the stuff they see around.
Exactly.
I don't remember how it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll do something like that just for fun and see if people want it.
I'll just ask if anyone has any questions, because I think I've used all my questions. I mean, I could like talk for days about techniques and that kind of stuff, which can be like a bit boring after some time, because I repeat this like during every session, but I just can't help myself. I just love talking about the art process. Oh yeah, I've seen this one. This this is like a really good mashup. This fish kind of I don't know, like six-leg thing.
The one with this door is mine.
yeah. It's like it's pretty. I mean, it turned out it's not easy to combine like you know, this kind of stuff. It doesn't turn out so well. But this looks like some kind of deep water fish and something. I don't know what the rest of it would be.
It's pretty difficult. I've been flirting around a lot with silly concepts. So before I would just do a cool creature. I'll try to make something that the design really flows very well. And now I'm trying to do things that are like, okay, if I make a shark with eels coming out of his gut and it's like walking on them, it's kind of scary and hilarious at the same time.
It's not hilarious, man. It's
No.
scary. It's scary, definitely. And because of the fact that this shark is so cut out, it looks like it looks like compared to these eels, it looks like a lamb, like wolf in the lamb skin. These eels
Yeah,
are
yeah,
real.
yeah. That's
So
the idea. Something like that. That you catch a shark and now you're in trouble. It's like a Trojan horse.
I really like the how you use the colors. The image on top reminds me so much. I can't remember. Of course, I can't remember the artist, but there was a guy like in probably 80s or 90s doing illustrations for like monstrous manuals for Dungeons and Dragons, and
Mm.
he had like this very similar uh, type of coloring. Even
Mhm.
the way you do the skin, and I totally like it. He did it traditionally, but this can easily be translated in a traditional thing. Okay, we lost contact, I think.
To show through the brushes and not go too crazy to get perfect.
Hmm.
And the result is it's more fun to watch it.
Okay. Mm, so we had like we lost connection for a while. Uh,
Oh,
just let me see if
is it?
there's any question. Okay, there's a question. But can you tell us more about the Lovecraftian influence? Is it only the shape of the monsters, or will there be a bit of cosmic horror in it as well?
The, there is cosmic horror,
Hmm.
for sure. I'm not going to go too deep into the story specifically because um, Nash is still rewriting some scenes. I don't want to say anything wrong, but yeah. It's not just like the thing infection uh, type of creature with Lovecraft fish people. Um, but no, the main entity of the story, yeah, you can consider it a universal god monster that doesn't care about humanity, um, but is not in a Lovecraft direct lore. So I'm trying to borrow some of the mood and the visuals of Shadow over Innsmouth and Dagon and all that stuff, but not grabbing his lore and using it because it's been done so much, and I think a little twist might be nice, little something fresh.
We have another question, a few of them actually. Like how did Alejandro's life experience in the diving industry help him with the building this project? I think you kind of answered that, but if there's anything else that you want to add.
Um, well, just by make me making me feel more comfortable when making design choices with not just the creatures, like Marco was saying about the skin that looks like I know what fish skin looks like, but also how a team that lives on a boat reacts in different situations, and what do they normally use as tools, and how do they move around, how do they go from the boat to land, and
Hmm.
so on. So that kind of stuff that I probably wouldn't feel so, or it would take me a lot of research to feel comfortable enough to do it. And even though I'm pretty familiar with it, I still had to do a lot of research
Hmm.
because it's not the type of boat and climate I'm used to.
Hmm.
So I still had to do some research. But yeah,
Okay, let me check this. Like, okay, having okay, so I'm not sure I understand, but Isuri is asking, having a background in undersea archaeology, how much do you think of the bioecology of these monsters? Hmm.
um, I
Like, do
wouldn't.
do you take this into consider when you?
But
you're
so the
designing them.
bio. Okay, so the yeah the I think that's more like in the biology field. Uh, I'm not a biologist by any means, but yeah, the creatures on Long Harbor are not things that have evolved or have become a certain way by natural selection or anything that would require a lot of biology. They are what do you call something like a paranormal infection, yeah. So
Hmm.
uh,
It's more like a thing, right? It just happens,
it's
like
like a thing, yeah.
yeah,
It's more like the thing, yeah.
Man, I watched that film when I was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6, or I don't know, but it scared me, like I was really hiding my face in the theater when I watched it. It was
Yeah.
like scariest thing ever for me then. I'm not sure if I
Are
watched
you
the Nightmare in the Elm Street before or after that. Also a shocking movie for me when I was a kid. Uh,
are
so
you an alien fan as well?
I this is also what we talked earlier, because when I started drawing, before I stopped drawing for like a lot of years, I didn't know about Geiger, and
Mm,
my style was like inventing stuff from your head. I didn't like drawing anything in real life, I just refused to draw anything, I just wanted to draw
yeah.
stuff that's in my head. And then someone on my first exhibition, someone says like, "Oh, this looks so much like Geiger," and I was like really
Mm,
offended, because I thought like I know who the guy was, and I was like, offended, like, because it was always like someone telling me I'm copying someone, and then I had like. But I knew about the Alien movie, and I loved it. But I knew nothing about the movie industry, and how things are made, And later on, we had some like party or something at someone's house, and the girl whose birthday was got a present, and the person said, "Oh, look, here's the Geiger book for you," or she said like,
oh,
"Wow, a Geiger book," and I was like, "Let me see this Geiger guy," And then I
oh
was
my god.
like, I just sat down on the bed and started like going through this book, and I was like, "Fuck, man." Okay,
So
because
sick.
someone already did it like 30 years ago, but like 10 times
Yeah.
better, And yeah, I'm a big fan of that design, and I never have a need to like do this kind of fun art
Hmm.
or exploring existing designs, but I totally love everything that related to the
Yeah.
alien, and but also other
Yeah.
creations that Geiger did.
I think the xenomorph is the only design that I can enjoy
Mhm.
exploring, and it doesn't, it's on mine. I'm not big into fan art either. It just bores me.
Yeah, xenomorph is something that a lot of people go through, but it's actually a very good art practice, and then to do your own variation of it. I
Yeah.
remember we had like 2 years ago, we had Aris Kolokontes, like who's like really good traditional sculptor. We had a workshop here in Zagreb, and I decided to go to this workshop. Although I've organized it, but I was like, I just wanted to attend it because I love sculpting as well, And then he said like, okay, we're gonna do xenomorph design. And I really enjoyed, doing my own. This was the only time I did it, because
Hmm.
it was a class thing. So okay, let me go just through some more questions here. What's the most hard thing to draw for you? If we talk like for
Hard.
a humanoid.
Females.
Oh yeah, of course. Something pretty is always hardest thing to
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to draw
Pretty,
and to
pretty,
get.
pretty ladies.
Yeah.
They're. I can get them down on paper, but it takes me longer
Hmm.
than other things.
Okay. Someone shared your Twitter here so others can see it. Can anybody buy? Can anybody point me to the interviewers' pages, links? Okay. No. Last I heard. Question. You love creature design. How comfortable are you with other elements you have to draw for this book, like vehicles perspective? What is the most challenging for you to draw for this book? I guess he's talking about the all-in-all composition when you're doing
Yeah.
for the piece. Like,
Well, I don't know if I'm very familiar with boats, but I never tried to draw them before. And yeah, since a year ago when I when I started drawing the ships, I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? This is really difficult because
it has this like strange curvatures.
Yeah, that curvature to get it in perspective, and yeah, you should first you gotta get good references to don't just start from scratch, because it's gonna take you forever. And after a while, it gets a bit easier. You kind of get used to it, but that was hard. That was hard. Boats are hard.
I guess like boats are those type of elements where you do have to think about the how do they construct them, like what's underneath, you know, like to understand what's going on on the surface. So yes, okay, this answers the question. So let me see. Okay. Okay. I don't think we have any more questions.
Ooh, we did it.
I think we're already live like for 80 minutes or something like that. So I think it's a decent time. It's enough for us to end this session. So if you have anything else to add, please do.
No, just thank you very much for having me and being able to promote my project and talk too much about myself. And
well,
I look forward to keep in touch with you because I want to know about your sculpting and your art.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about what I mentioned about the casting and this, which is also something I ask other people to help me with. So we all share knowledge here. Yeah, and if so, and for others to know, and for you to know, like if you want to do any additional updates on the project and wherever, we can do like live session like this, no problem at all. Because we haven't kind of determined like what kind of content we stream. It's just the things that we follow. So on this channel we do like artist reviews, project reviews, but also like people who are doing like softwares, you know. So if it's in a software that helps artists to do something, we do reviews for those as well. Alejandro, thanks a lot. Hope we'll have a chance to meet. Hope you'll join us at the IFCC next year in 2020, if we'll do another, because to be honest, I'm really tired with this event, and it's getting harder and harder to promote it and organize it. So, but I hope, you know, I hope we won't kill it that soon. So we'll meet next year, or maybe we could do like a workshop with you with smaller number of people, or I might visit your workshop in Bali. So
Thanks for having me, Marco.
no problem. No problem. For everyone else, thanks so much for joining us. Please, the easiest thing that you can do and to help us is to share this stream, to share this link, because this will be like a video later on the same URL. So please share it on your social media if you find it interesting, of course. And we'll be in touch soon. Alejandro, all the best.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.